Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to do a craft using only HTV or heat transfer vinyl scraps. So just a couple days ago I did a tutorial where I used vinyl scraps to decorate my maker over here, and I got a lot of questions asking, can we do this with HTV scraps also? And so the answer was, I don't know. So today I have to put together something at the last minute, so I thought it would be a good time to kind of experiment and see if we can do the same thing with the vinyl scraps with HTV scraps. So I've gotten my HTV scrap bag. So these are all my HTV scraps, and I pulled out a bunch of scraps here that I think will work. So this is an experimental tutorial, so we're going to see if this works, and if it does, yay, and if it doesn't, then this video will just never see the light of day, so you won't even know. Okay, so to get started, what I've done is, I should show you what I'm going to be putting this on. So I know this looks like nothing right now, but basically what this is it's so what we're going to be ironing today is this big storage bin, and I'm just putting a label right here. So this is going to be like an impromptu Easter basket for my sister-in-law, because we decided we're gonna do Easter baskets for each other with stuff we just find laying around the house. So we thought this would be really fun. So I thought, why not personalize this for her and put her name on it? For this project, you'll need HTV scraps, a iron or an easy press, or even a mini, the little mini guy over here will work too. Might just take a little bit longer. So whatever you have, iron, heat press, easy press, any of those will work. And then also I'm going to be using my paper cutter to get even strips of scraps. So these are all different shapes and sizes. So I'm going to use this just to make them even, but you can totally use a pair of scissors too. And then also some transfer tape. And I know we typically don't use transfer tape for HTV, but I've thought about how this is going to work. And I think a piece of transfer tape will help the situation. All right, so I think that's all you need. So let's get started. Okay, so first things first, I have my design space. All I did was I just created a text box and put her name there with a little heart that I just found in design space. The font I'm using is close to my heart. It's a Cricut Access font, and I like this font a lot because, one, the font, how it's designed, it doesn't have middles of the letters, and two, it's chunky enough so you'll get the good scrapped effect. And then I basically just sized it how I want. So for me, I'm going to do about 9.5 or so by 2.5. So not a real specific measurement, but that's what I'm going to do. So you'll just make a text box or whatever you're wanting to design. Go to make it, and then because we're doing HTV, same rules apply. We're going to want to mirror it, so I'm just coming over here and mirroring it, and then once we're ready we'll go to continue. But for now we don't need this, so I'm just going to move it because don't have a whole lot of room here. So now what I want to do is I'm going to take my transfer tape. So you can use whatever transfer tape you want, but this is Expressions transfer tape, a roll of masking transfer tape that Auntie Tay sent me. And so basically I'm going to cut out a piece that is about the same size or a little bit bigger than the design that I actually have. So the design I have goes till about the 10. So I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger. And you can use whatever transfer tape you have. Just this is what I really like to use. And so I'm going to be putting the non-sticky side of the transfer tape on the mat. So the sticky side is going to remain upright. And so my theory is because, okay, so because typically when we do heat transfer vinyl, we have to put it matte side down in the or shiny side down on the mat, and that's basically what sticks to it. And then the shiny side is really the carrier sheet. So if I was using one big sheet of HTV, I wouldn't need this transfer tape because I just pull it off the mat and it's ready to go. But because we're doing strips, you need something to be able to pull it off the mat and then actually transfer it to your whatever you're pressing it to. If we didn't have this transfer tape, or if we didn't have some kind of cohesive thing to pull it off the mat, we would have all of these individual strips that we would have to manually put onto our surface that we're pressing. So I know that was kind of a word salad, but I've thought about this and I think that this should work. Again, we're experimenting here, so let's just have some fun with this. So basically I want to fill up this transfer tape from about, sorry, I know I just kicked that. I want to fill it up to about here. So here, 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 all the way across. All right, so let's start, goes this way. So to start, I'm going to get my baseline strip. So that's a little bit bigger than I need, but that's okay. And so basically I just want to cut individual strips, and I'm using the paper cutter just because it's going to give me those clean lines so I can line these up. And then I'm just going to put it on my transfer tape, and I'm still putting it shiny side down. And so after like giving this a little bit of thought, I think you will want to use this relatively the same type of HTV. You want to use this relatively same kind of HTV. So because not really the heat setting so much, but the cut setting. So the cut setting for regular HTV like this is going to be a lot different than the glitter cut setting. Sorry, my brain just turned off there for a second. So for the most part, these are all going to be the same cut setting. So I think that is going to matter. So and make sure to not overlap. These are just flushed to right together. Just looking for more colors. Oh my god, I just made such a mess. So I think I'm gonna do all glitter. I think that would be pretty if I can pull this off. Green. All right, we have some gold. All right, so we're about halfway. And I'll do a little silver. All right, so after all that, we have our scraps on our transfer tape on our light blue mat. So I'm gonna clean all of this up and then we can cut. All right, so now we can press continue in our design space. And so it's gonna connect to our machine. So I'm using the Maker, Cricut Maker, but you can use any other cutting machine that you have. So I'm gonna be choosing glitter, glitter iron-on. So that's the setting I'm going to be using because the majority of these are glitter iron-on, but if you're using regular HTV or pattern HTV, feel free to use any other setting. Just don't forget, if your vinyl or if your HTV calls for it, make sure you mirror your HTV or mirror it in design space. All right, so now I'm going to load my mat like I normally would. So blinking, so we're good to go. And once this starts to blink, we can cut. All right, so it's done cutting. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to weed out the areas that we don't need. And so with glitter HTV, that is a little bit more difficult. I have to figure out where exactly it cut because it's kind of hard to see, but I'm just going to start peeling away. So far so good, so I'm just peeling away the sections that we don't need. You can see it's starting to, so that's like the heart that I had. So this is the A. So that's the A. Oop. All right, and then this one didn't even get cut. All right, so we have our name with our scraps. So throw these away. And now what I'm gonna do is, so I'm gonna basically just take off this transfer tape off of the mat, And so this is making sure that we can stick it to our surface and everything's gonna stay where it needs to stay. So there we go. So I can move my mat out of the way now. All right, so this is the, I know it's, you can't really see what this is, but this is the little fabric storage bin that I am going to be pressing. And so this is the part I'm going to put the letters on. And so I'm going to be using my Cricut Easy Press Mini, because I think it'll be easier to just do like kind of each individual letter than using my monster 12 by 12 over there. I think this will just be a lot easier. And so, as I mentioned, we're using this transfer tape. We're not pressing it or anything, but basically we're just using it so we can get our HTV on here in one swoop. So it'll make sure everything is lined up. So basically I'm just gonna do like I normally would with regular adhesive vinyl and just kind of press it on there. Where is my scraper? And just kind of scrape it on there. And then I'm basically just going to peel off the transfer tape. And so because there's like little individual strips, you just need to make sure. So see, like this one is like pulling, so you just need to make sure everything sticks. Oh. All right, so just making sure this is all stuck down. And so now I'm basically just going to go and press each individual letter here. So I'm using a piece of parchment paper just to protect the vinyl, and I have this on the hottest setting. So it's wrapped around the tripod. So I'm just going to do each individual letter or whatever the I cannot think right now. I'm going to whatever the parchment paper is covering, that's what I'm going to start to press. Oh my god, I cannot talk. So I'm going to try and just do 1 or 2 letters at a time, so then I can peel away as I go. And this is glitter, so I'm just making sure to give it good pressure. All right, let's see if we can start peeling. All right, so we're just gonna start peeling these up. All right, so now I'm gonna do the next couple of letters. So I'm doing the L and the I and the rest of the U. Okay. Oh my gosh, how fun does this look, you guys? I'm so excited. All right, so now I'm going to finish the A and the heart. And with the mini, I've been told you are supposed to move it around. With the big ones, you just kind of press and hold the mini, you're supposed to move it around. All right, so we can move the A. Oop. And I think this holographic is cold peel, so I have to wait for this one to cool. All right, so this holographic has had time to cool, so we're just gonna pull off that last piece. All right, you guys, so there you have it. We are finished using our HTV glitter scraps. How beautiful is that? Super fun, and actually that was relatively easy. So I hope you guys found this helpful. If you did, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to leave me a comment and subscribe. And as always, happy crafting!